Box time for the Sundown ZV4's, Sundown Audio, ZV4, yeah, got these friends sitting over there. Alright, I've showed you those before, so let's talk box. So, I've already started the build. I've been filming about 3 or 4 videos on this weekend, like random different things, so haven't really filmed this one much. Anyway, there's some speaker rings I've made for it, and you'll see what they're for later. And now we have the bottom of the box. Yep. So it is 45'd, but that is actually the box that's 45'd, not internal 45s. Now this is the front of the box there, which lines up with the little 45 thingies. So I've still got to cut off the bottom part of that over here, and then 18mm will follow up from there. Reason being is the strut towers in his car come in at an angle at the bottom. So I've got the sides cut, which has got a little cut out there, so she sits like that, roughly. I've got to sand off a bit of glue actually to stopping that one. But anyway, that's that one. So that'll be that. I've also got the other side. So now I just got to cut out the back. So the box is going to be officially 6.95 cubic feet. Take off the subs, take off the port. It's going to be bang on 6 cubic feet. So tuned at, we're thinking 37 hertz actually. Reason being is because the way these subs are going through WinISD Pro and stuff, they're actually going to peak very close to the tuning. Yes, it kind of looks like a wooden bathtub. But that's the bottom of the box. The sides are attached now. Bottoms, obviously that's all one piece. This is here, so you can obviously see where the double baffle sits for the front, and then double baffle on top. So that's now glued, the whole thing, one big piece. That is all 18mm, the whole thing so far. The fronts of the box, just sitting there. So yeah, it's a fucked up looking shape, but you're only going to see that top part from there. There's the rough cut out of the port. So as you can see, screw in the middle, and it's got kind of the oval, kind of whatever you want to call it, shape on the side. Yeah, just a bit of a curve. Alright, so there's the rough cut out of the port there. Obviously this is the piece that will be wrapped separately. We'll go in there. That's plural. There's the port, cut up, precision baby, using the table saw there. So everything is exactly even. Also that's all 45'd, so it's going to go together like flat piece of wood, and obviously that will go like that in there, so she'll sit together all perfect like that. Top cut, and that's where the rings will be going roughly. Yeah. Move the port now glued together, and well, it's not attached yet, I've just glued it, so I'm just going to let the port set a little, and I might round over the edges actually on the corners. About to wrap up the day, but glue all over that front panel there. Ports mounted and in. Alright, so now the front is one piece with the port. That's all flush trim rounded. Obviously still got to paint this black and stuff, but yeah, that's all flush trimmed. Also got the insert and flush trim that at the same time, so everything's flush. This is nice and flush. So still got there's a little about a millimeter, maybe 2 notch there. Got to sand off the top. Now that'll bring the port pretty much level. We're very close, so I might actually fill that in type of thing, and join as a support for the top. I mean, it's full of dust, but I've given that a bit of a paint, so it's starting to look good. Obviously it's got that panel around the front, but the port's got to be black still. Okay, so I've rounded the top. That top piece is attached with like 3 nails just to tack it in there so I can router it. So now it's time to mark my holes. So pretty much they're going to go like that. I want them to line up with about the edge of the port roughly. So the reason why this new router is awesome, so I use that flush trim in that stand. So all I do, unclip it, unscrew it, and I can slide it straight into this one with the circle jig. So I don't have to undo the circle jig, because in this kit you get both bottoms. You get your laminate trimmer and your plunge router. That's the top of the box and the box. So I'm keeping it separate, mainly so it's not so freaking heavy to carry. It's pretty awkward to carry this one. What is it, baby? So I made these. these rings go around these rings. Now these have got a 45-degree chamfer on them, so that I only have to body fill over that, just because I would have been wasting a lot of body filler trying to fill that gap. So now I've just got a body fill over the top of that, and that's given me some kind of angle as well. So now I've just got a body fill around that. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm kind of thinking, what the fuck is he doing to those rings? That's what I'm doing to those rings. So the sub's kind of lifted out of the box, as you can see. And this is the whole point. When you look in the car, you're not going to see that bottom, you're just going to see that with the lifted woofers. I've done that one properly. This one I ran out of body filler, what I mixed up, so it's alright, I got heaps in there. But and so what I've done is I've just ran my mixing thing, whatever you want to call it, paint scraper thing, with the 45 chamfer, which has almost given me a perfect shape anyway. It's like almost ready, bang on ready to sand. So there we go, first layer's body filler done. With the sand, I used a sanding block, so I sanded anything away that wasn't perfectly flush. So although there's big dips, that's where I've actually got to fill in, but where it's pretty much smooth is where it's perfect. So that's, yeah, as I said, this is the first layer of body filler. Now I'll do a layer over the top of that that'll smooth everything off. An hour's worth of sanding, which isn't too bad really, and they're ready. They're carpet ready, should I say. There's still pits and stuff where if I was in a vinyl it, I'd have another hour's worth of work in it. If I was going to paint it, another 2 days. I am wearing a respirator, so bear with me as far as my voice sounds. Anyway, there's the inside resin. Looks a little fucked up on black because the paint on the back, they're mixed with the resin, so, well, whatever. Otherwise, I fiberglassed in here a bit. It's thicker than it looks, and I fiberglassed the sides, just of the port there. Yeah, not a whole lot, but just a bit. Otherwise it's just resin like I normally would do. So there's the top now attached, glued. I've put in a bunch of like 60mm screws, so they're coming down to about there. All through the corners, through here, and I also put some 40mm screws, no 45mm, that go through and into the port. I didn't bother showing you, but I made a piece of 6mm that is the same size as the port that sits on there, which made the gap perfect. So now the box is also attached to the top of the port. So the whole thing is sanded and ready. Now I went and filled in the holes. Yes, that's green, and yes, that's Rage Gold. I used up pretty much all the body filler I had doing these rings, and so I decided I'll go buy some new stuff. I've always wanted Rage Gold. You can't actually buy it anywhere locally, so I found it online. I mean, I found it online in Australia. I mean, I can't buy it from a retail shop though. Bunnings, none of those type of places have it. So, and yes, it is as easy as everyone says to sand. Ready for painting, ready for wrapping, sorry, in carpet. So taped up the port, so no glue goes in there. The outer bit will be carpeted though, like these side bits, but obviously the port won't. I just painted these very quick coat as black, just so that in the event that the carpet doesn't cover some random little bit that you can see down the side of the woofer, at least it's black in there rather than MDF, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to show you the whole thing of me wrapping it. It's too hard to film this because obviously the glue will be setting and everything while I'm doing it. I just want to give you a rough idea of how I'm going to attempt it. Again, I haven't done a lot of wrapping, and this one's a pain in the ass because of that weird 45 underbottom, plus the circles in the top that make it a little bit harder again. So what I've done here is I've cut it, the length here is long enough to cover the front, okay, the front that you actually is going to be visible, and it'll be enough to wrap under. So I'm going to do 2 bits. This giant piece will cover the whole box, and then there'll be a piece I'll do that'll wrap right around the bottom, do those 45s, and it'll join under here, okay. So you won't actually see the join or anything even, but it'll just be around the edges. An hour and about 20 minutes later, so almost an hour and a half to do it, and we have a wrap. The bulges on top don't look stupid over exaggerated, which is what I wanted. Let me just grab this piece of wood, which still just will sit in there. It's not super tight yet, obviously I've allowed for thickness of vinyl. But yeah, so it's plain black. Yes, once I put the orange on there it'll be better. Happy with that, the orange, the vinyl. Doesn't look too bad, everything lines up perfectly. So, gives a nice edge to the whole thing. As you can see, the inside of the box is black. Let me just grab the torch. Inside of it's all black there, so, and shiny because it's, you know, I haven't put the T-nuts in yet. It's the only thing I haven't done. I haven't vacuumed out the inside. The oranges aren't too bad, actually, really similar. It doesn't, not that you get to see them, but that's cool. Okay, so in here we have the bolts. They look really good in there, actually. It looks really solid, I guess you'd call it. So what it is a nut. There's a nut, a spring washer, then the ring terminal, and then there's the hex bolt, stainless bolt. But yeah, it looks really nice, all stainless there. Sorry. Yeah, it looks really nice. They're not tied in there yet. And then underneath, which will be the other side of the wire, a spring washer, and the wing nut there. There we go. Tightest fit I've done yet, that was for sure. It fit by the millimeter, literally. Perfect. So there's the floor, and it makes the box look small. You kind of think that the floor, which is this floor, is actually the floor, but then you can look inside and realize that it's actually really, really deep. It's going to be below window height, so it won't disqualify as a wall when DB drags. The subs will sit still below seat height by about 2 centimeters. But yeah, all right. So we're going to have to get some subs in here. Yeah, turn your headlights off.
You get orange LEDs.
Not LEDs. Alright, well that's it for this build. It plays well. It plays from about 28 to 55 hertz, like loud. It sounds really good. There's some rattles we need to fix, but no, I'm happy with it. The woofers are getting moving, that's for sure. But alright, so that's it. There's some night zone picks as well, and I'll leave you with some T-nut tips. So if you don't know what a T-nut is, first of all, it's that little nut, see, threaded with little teeth on it. Alright. So this is an M6 6mm. Now the thing is, first place, don't go to Bunnings to buy them, because if you go to Bunnings, they've only got Imperial. So I think the size is 5/16, I think, is roughly what this is. But if you go on eBay, I know eBay, it's not that I'd buy them from Bunnings if Bunnings had them in metric for starters, plus different sizes. Now this is slightly bigger though as well. Than the 5/16 or whatever the similar size is. These are slightly bigger, so Difference is you go to Bunnings, they're $4 for a pack of 4, or $3 for a pack of 4. Bought 100 on eBay for about $12. So for starters, you know, you're going to save a bit if you're using a lot of them. But I mainly bought them because I wanted M6. And the second thing is bolts. So the ones I'm using for this are really long, but M6 bolt. And main thing is get one with an Allen key head. Alright, do not even attempt Phillips head, because to put these in, you put the T-nut in under the wood, and then you screw it down. You use a washer, on the head of the nut, of the bolt, sorry. Okay, and you're screwing down and it'll pull it up into the wood. So using a Phillips head, they just strip. They strip every single time, even if you use the correct Phillips head and everything, but the amount of pressure you're putting on it, they'll strip. Use the Allen key, you'll have no problems. So that's two things. Allen key for sure. Also, I got these black bolts. These are fine. The heads are a little bit big to fit in the sub holes, so I'll either make the gasket bigger or take it off or something. And then the last tip is glue them in, because I know myself, when I do that, I do it by hand. When I put the sub in, I fit the sub by hand. But people use drills and stuff, and the problem is these guys are only held in by those little points. People put their drill down, and they push them straight out. Like the nut will go in, do a few turns, and then they'll push them straight out of the box. So from now on I'm gluing them in. I'm just using my wood glue, but it's going to make a seal in there. It's probably not going to stick to the steel very well, but it's going to make a seal, press it up against it. You know what I mean? Rather than just a bare nut. If that doesn't work and I find they're pushing out still, then I'll fiberglass them in there or something. Hopefully you don't have to though. You don't want to, because if fiberglass gets in the thread, then you have to re-tack them. I've done that before.